Roki Sasaki is basically the next best thing since sliced bread coming out of Japan and could quite possibly be the greatest pitcher to ever come from Japan, which is crazy because last offseason it felt like Yoshinobu Yamamoto was that guy. When it comes to Sasaki being a guarantee for this offseason, though, there could be a few problems. And actually, Bob Nightingale wrote this the other day in his weekly USA Today article. He says here, Japanese star Roki Sasaki, who is expected to be posted this winter, now may be having a change of heart and could stay another season in Japan, several club executives say. And just to get you caught up to speed, Roki Sasaki, who's currently only 22 years old, became a sensation in Japan during his high school years because he touched 101 miles per hour and pitched a 12-inning, 194-pitch complete game, which is in the middle of a stretch in which he threw 500 pitches in an 8-day span. That is mind-boggling. He was then drafted first overall in the 2019 NPB draft by the Chiba Lot Marines and posted a stupid 1.84 ERA over 16 starts in his rookie season. Since then, he's gone 22-11 with an ERA of 1.98, all while striking out right around 12 batters per 9. During this time, he also threw a perfect game in which he struck out a whopping 19 batters, the youngest ever to throw a perfect game in NPB history. He then went on to pitch 8 more perfect innings in his next start before his manager pulled him out, which gave him a total of 52 straight retired batters, another NPB record. He also pitched a couple of games in the World Baseball Classic, striking out 11 batters over 7 2/3 innings. What makes this guy so good, though? Well, he's 6'3", has a fastball that averaged 99 miles an hour in 2023, while consistently going over 100 miles per hour, and he complements this with a nasty splitter that he throws in the upper 80s, and a wicked slider that he's also improved upon this past season. When it comes to his stuff, think Paul Skeens, but better. When you hear this, you might be frothing at the mouth, and I guarantee you Major League Baseball teams are waiting in line like New Yorkers at the local deli. And last offseason, it was reported that Roki Sasaki had asked to be posted for MLB teams, and in case you don't know what posted means, that's simply a player overseas being made available as an international free agent by their team if they have pitched at least 6 professional seasons and they're 25 years old. The team that signs said player would also have to pay that team a posting fee based off a percentage of the player's contract. In Sasaki's case, this is only his 4th season and he's only 22 years old, so he would only be eligible for a minor league contract in which teams can only use their international pool money, the same thing that happened with Shohei Ohtani back in 2018. This essentially limits said players' earnings in the beginning of their careers. The player would be able to get to the major leagues faster, so it kind of helps them out in that way. In the end, last offseason, Sasaki ended up re-signing with the Marines, but told reporters he has a desire to play in the majors in the future. It's also been reported that Major League Baseball teams are getting ready for Roki Sasaki to be posted this offseason. So with all of that out of the way, let's get to the whole point of this video, and that's the potential problem with Roki Sasaki coming to the major leagues this offseason. In fact, there are a few possible problems that could come into play and could quite possibly keep him from signing until after 2025 or maybe even after 2026. First off, let's talk about the one area that's looked the most amazing up to this point, and that's been the numbers he's been putting up on the mound. He has absolutely dominated the Nippon Professional League, but this year, while he's still pitching great, the numbers are down a smidge. If you take a look at the strikeouts per 9, he had 13.4 strikeouts per 9 last year, down to 10.5 per 9 this year. He had 1.7 walks per 9 last year, and those are up to 2.5 this year. And actually, on Fangraphs, they pointed out his stuff is down as well. Last year on the fastball, he was averaging 98.8 miles per hour, and it's down to 96.7 miles per hour this year. The swing and miss on the fastball is down from 24% to 12%, and the splitter and the slider have lost some bite as well. The velo's down, the miss percentage is down, the chase percentage is down. So what gives? Why is this happening? Well, Roki Sasaki was dealing with some arm fatigue this year. He did miss some time, missed about a couple of months. He is back now, though, but in the end, most likely, this is not going to scare teams away based off of everything he's done up to this point, but it is something to consider. What a perfect segue into the next potential problem, which is most likely the biggest conundrum in this whole situation, and that's the money. Now, for Sasaki, my guess is that the money isn't the biggest issue for him at this point in his career, since he's only just about to turn 23 years old, but you have to consider it from the Lot Marines' point of view. So, since Sasaki hasn't pitched at least 6 seasons and isn't 25 years old, he would only be able to get a minor league contract and a signing bonus, but that amount is restricted to what teams have in their international pool money. Since he's not being posted the traditional way like Yamamoto was last year, that means much less money for Sasaki and much less money for the Marines to get back in compensation. I do want to make one more point here that I think not a lot of people might be thinking of, and that's teams in the NPB also need to set a parameter too. The people in charge of the NPB don't want to be viewed simply as a feeder for Major League Baseball. They want to be recognized as a legit league in the world. Baseball in Japan is absolutely amazing, and not a minor league of sorts that's just supplying players for Major League Baseball. Sure, everyone knows Major League Baseball is the top dog when it comes to baseball all across the world, but from a business standpoint, the NPB needs to be firm when it comes to hanging on to their talent. They're operating a business to appease their fans in Japan, who are some of the most passionate fans in the world, by the way. So to recap, there's a few issues here with Sasaki coming over to the States after this season. One potentially being his health, but again, Major League teams probably don't see it being a big issue, even if he ends up needing Tommy John or whatever, because he's already shown what an unbelievable talent he is, and again, it's not like they would be spending a boatload to get him. Perhaps there could also be the possibility Sasaki may want to hold off until he feels that he's ready physically, especially coming over to a higher workload in the States against tougher competition, but he has already stated his desire to come over to the major leagues, so I don't really see that being an issue either. The big issue most likely comes down to the money at the end of the day, and it will probably come down to whether or not the Marines want to post him or not. Now, there were some reports from Sean Spradling last year, who was covering the World Baseball Classic, that there was an agreement between Sasaki and the Marines that he would be posted early, and he may even have an early posting clause in his contract, but there seemed to be a disagreement on what early actually meant. He also reported that they denied his posting request because they felt he hadn't sufficiently contributed to the team. Now, I can see a lot of people saying that's crazy because of how great he's been, along with almost throwing back-to-back perfect games, but my guess is the Marines probably want to have him for at least 1 or 2 more runs in the playoffs, considering they haven't won a Japan series since 2010, and they're in contention this year. Back to the money though, and simply put, posting him now means they would miss out on getting a lot more money for him in a couple of years if they were to post him the traditional way, but on the other hand, posting him now could make the Marines look good in the public eye, as it could show they support their top players. My guess though is the Marines are simply looking to get every little bit out of Sasaki before they end up looking like they're just money hungry, but I mean, logistically, can you blame him for wanting a couple extra bucks? In the end, when you weigh all of this, including his slightly down season and the injuries, the money aspect, as well as maybe even the MPB wanting to set a precedent and not looking like just being a feeder league, it's going to be interesting to see if Sasaki ends up getting posted this offseason. If he's not, quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you think Sasaki is going to get posted this offseason? Do you think we're going to have to wait till next year, maybe even a couple more years? Let me know down below in the comments. But everyone, that's all I got for right now. If you count on the way out, hit that like button for me, subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.